Are you okay with this topic?
I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
We're live. I don't care. It's all good.
We'll restart it.
No. No. It doesn't matter. I'm going to clip it out anyway, and I'll delete it off the online live. And it doesn't matter. I don't give a fuck what topic. They're all important. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's going to be a topic we cover eventually. So, yeah, why not today? I'm ready. Hey, guys, and welcome to another edition of the UTP podcast. Myself and Julie are here with you, and together we've attended over 1,000 events. We've generated tens of millions of dollars in revenue, and our goal with this podcast has always been from day one to help you make more money with your poster company. So with that, Jay Bird, good to see you.
I'm here still.
Oh, yeah, you are. This will be the last week we get her. I can almost guarantee it because she is due like right now. So we're going to get through this today.
That's why I was like, we should do this today because tomorrow is not promised.
That's right. For those of you that don't know Julie, she like obsesses her life over planning. And here lately, she can't plan because she doesn't know. And it's so funny to watch her navigate the day. She's in turmoil daily.
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible because I can't really plan anything.
Yep.
Because if I do it, it's like, well, if I do it today, great. If I don't do it today, is it okay to do it a month from now?
Yeah.
And that is so awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
All right. So what's our topic going to be today?
Yep. So our topic today is the team photos that we take. This is something that, like, for me, anytime I kind of cringe when people say that I don't take team photos.
Yeah.
Because I just think that's the one easy thing that you're leaving money on the table.
Yeah. I can remember starting out with team photos, and the way I looked at it was I could take one photo and design it and sell it 12 times.
Well, when we started, there wasn't time to take individuals because we had to do everything by hand.
Yeah, it was all manual design.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was no automatic background removal.
Yep.
I mean, we were so before our time.
Oh, yeah.
Doing this.
We brought the time. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So we had to get really good at taking team photos, really good at selling that team photo, like you said, multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why it kind of gets to me when we talk to staff and crews and they say that we don't even bother with the team photos because that's how we got to where we were to where we are.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, let's go into it, right? So if you notice on the screen right here, you're going to see a few things. Number one, obviously, the fact that I know without counting, the person in the middle is facing forward. And so for those of you that are listening to this on audio, it's obviously a video. And so we're going to be highlighting some of the photos that we've taken, some good, some bad, how it got here. So one of the things, if you notice in this photo, is that the toes to heels. This is, I cannot stress enough, the most important thing we probably came up with because it keeps people in a straight line. And you said this when we were preparing for this. You said that the goal is to take a photo that a parent can't easily take again.
They couldn't do this.
Right, but the one problem we do have a lot of times when we line them up like this is the parents get behind you and take the photo at the same time. And that's something you can never prevent, and it used to just piss me off so bad. I would get so mad about that.
Yes and no. I think it depends on the sport, too.
Sure.
And when you go to approach the team and...
Yeah.
If you're warming up,
like
right.
This one was obviously this one was done somewhere in the middle of the complex on concrete, and we used a line on the sidewalk there, or whatever it was, to get the kids. We use lines for everything. If you're using a foul line, if you're in a basketball court or a volleyball court, using a line on the field, soccer field, the 18-yard line or the goalpost line, any of those lines that you can tell everyone, like, line up on this thing, look at me, hands to your side, and to your point. I go back to anyone, and this is crazy, but if you do not take team photos, if you started taking team photos, I could almost guarantee you your sales would increase 20% at minimum.
I think people are scared to take team photos because they don't know how, or they haven't practiced enough because they haven't been taking team photos. And like a lot of this podcast, I don't know if people are just going to like say, oh, this is just a training for taking team photos. I've already gone through the training, but that's not the point of this.
I actually disagree. Okay. I don't think that's why people don't take team photos. I think they don't take team photos because it's not convenient. Because to take a team photo, you need everyone to be there. And if I go over to take a photo and 11 of the 12 players are there, it's so much easier to just take their individuals and that other kid can come over and get his photo later. And I understand. Like, I completely understand it. But at the same time, and look, if you do take the team photo and the one kid is missing, you're going to have to retake it, which is a whole other headache in and of itself. And then they're like, well, can you take his photo and add them in? Like, I get it. That's why people don't take team photos. I promise you that's like the number one reason is the convenience factor of I can just get everyone right now and have 11 photos to sell versus no team.
Sure. I think also training on the team photo is a lot more difficult than individuals.
Absolutely. If
So,
you have new people, day
right.
one, yeah.
Right. So I think, yes, you're right. But
Yeah.
I also think the training barrier to take a team photo versus individuals, it's like,
Well, and you're also trying to get 12 kids to listen, 12 kids to look at you, 12 kids to behave accordingly. So I always treat it, unfortunately, like kind of like a drill sergeant. I'm like, guys, everyone put your toes on the line. And then I rearrange them. And then I'm like, look, I want you. And I physically turn myself, right? I'm like, look, I want you to take your hands and put them just like this to your side.
well, don't forget over the summer, I have to train like 30 photographers and within 2 hours
Yeah.
and then they have to have great photos
Yeah.
for the summer. Otherwise, everything starts with the photo. And so for me, when I'm working with them, it's like you're trying to show the kids with your like it's a whole bunch of more body language than what you're saying, because what you're saying really doesn't matter, because if you're doing what they're supposed to be doing, it's a lot easier for them to watch than to listen.
Yep. I
So,
agree.
Yeah. And so kind of just going back to like the team photo that we have, like just right here. I mean, this one's beautiful. Everything about this one is
There's one thing I would change. So there's one thing on this photo I would change. I can tell you right now.
okay.
So when I do this and I have the kids line up like this, I have everyone drop their glove to their feet. And the reason I do that is because on this one, only 5 of the, and you notice the left-handed kid on the other side. So not everyone has a glove. I keep the kid in the middle with his glove and I have everyone else drop them to the side so both sides have their hands. I know you're saying like you just keep it on there and it's not a big deal, but it does look better if every kid has a glove or every kid has a hand. And it's impossible with a glove because of this, specifically the kid to the left of the center one. He is left-handed. So even if he was on the other side, there would be 3 kids with a glove and him without one. And so if you want it to be symmetrical, drop the glove.
Or you could just crop the feet before you upload it, and then you wouldn't see the gloves.
I think drop the gloves. I think because I hate when I see team photos that have too much head. Like to crop that photo that high, you're cutting at the waist. It's terrible. No, it's terrible. Look, drop the gloves.
Well,
cut it.
here's the thing.
Yeah.
You haven't taken a photo in a while. You ask this age kids to drop a glove, they're fucking throwing it.
I will tell you this. There's a big difference in me taking a photo for a while, and I built my entire life around team photos. If there's one thing I know how to sell more than anything else, I would say it was a team photo. I'm just going to say.
Okay. We can agree to disagree, because like for me, if I saw this photo, I would never tell my photographer to drop the gloves.
So every time whenever you're saying that this age kid's going to throw it,
Oh yeah.
I don't agree, because it's just about how you tell them. It's like, hey, every single person, listen to me. Take your glove and drop it to your shoes right now. Don't move. Don't throw it. Drop it to your shoes. And they'll do it in 2 seconds. It's all about how much command you have.
Sure.
That's true.
Right. No, but I think if I can get my photographers to this point,
Sure.
I'd be thrilled.
That I don't disagree with.
Right. If every photographer we had took a photo like this, every staff member, the glove at the end of the day,
You get
like,
over it.
I'd get over it.
Like I said, though, if there's one thing I would improve,
Sure.
that's what it would be. And I know you agree. Like, it's not symmetrical. It's just not.
Sure.
All right. Next slide.
Nope. If I can do it right. Okay. So you kind of touched on this, the importance of positioning the team. It's so that way the parents can't do this. They can't line these kids up. Even the one with the drop in the gloves, they couldn't even get it close to what it looked like, what we can do.
Sure.
And so I think, like, I have another photo. So this is what I'm talking about. This is something a parent can say, hey guys, line up right here. Coaches get behind them and they can take this photo.
Absolutely.
there's no professionalism behind it. There's no, I mean, yeah, they kind of got him in height order, and not really. The kid on the left still is not quite in height order, but
Yeah.
I don't know. When I see things like this, it makes me so frustrated because it's like, and I pulled this from our event system. This is not. This
Yeah.
was turned into a poster.
Who took this?
I don't remember, and I'm not going to call anybody out.
I will. For sure.
Yeah, I don't. I think it was Frank's event. One
So
of Frank's.
the thing about this photo is there is a way to do a photo where all of the kids are in a different position or a different pose, but it's also staged. This is not that. This is everyone line up and look right here, and you put them in height order. If I'm a parent, right, the goal for me has always been make it harder to say no than to say yes. And this I can say no to all day long.
Well, look
No
at
problem.
the third kid from the left. He's just holding his stomach.
Yeah, because they should drop their gloves. All right, go to the next one. I know.
All right. So I brought this up because we're right at the beginning of hockey season, and team photos in hockey. I actually talked to one of our crews, and I asked them why they didn't take team photos, and they said there wasn't room. And it was at a facility that both Eric and I have taken plenty of team photos at,
Yep.
and they look beautiful. So I think, again, they're too quick to make excuses that they can't.
Yeah. Well, another thing about people not taking team photos, keep this in mind. Certain sports, the team really matters. Okay. So hockey is one of those sports where if you play hockey, you play nothing else. It's what you play. And all of the kids and all of the families are close friends. And so having a team photo option, instantly you have a package that's worth more than you do without one. I mean, just by taking the photo, and you're already getting the kids. To me, it makes no sense at all in hockey if you do not take. I would take a team photo. In all honesty, if I had to choose, I would take a team over individuals.
Oh, especially as you get into the older age groups.
I would 100%.
I don't even bother with the individuals when you get into the midgets, and sometimes, but Bantam still buys the.
So here's the thing about teams that I think a lot of people overlook. A team photo, if one mom buys it, they all get the same photo. Whereas if you're buying an individual, every single person can nitpick it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a team and their kid doesn't look good, they're not going to say anything to anyone else. Like, dude, don't buy that, please. My little kid doesn't look good. But they're like, well, mine does. And so everyone gets the same photo. So the return on effort is much, much, much higher on teams than individuals.
Not to mention when you go to show.
Yeah, it's so much easier. You have every kid. Hey, here's the team.
You got something. Every person has something to look at.
Yep, 100%.
Yes. Yeah, I would always bring team photos over.
Yep.
I mean, very rare. I don't think I've ever. I guess I'll bring some individuals, but I'd much rather bring the team photo over to show
100%.
people.
And then a player gallery.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
I don't know. Teams, look, so hockey, this is the thing. Hockey, what's really interesting about the goalie is for some reason, I don't know what it is, but the goalie's always like the smallest person on the team.
Always the shortest.
And I don't know if it's because their pads force them to bend their knees. I don't even know what it is. I mean, maybe Eric, maybe you would know, but I can tell you guys this. If you are in this position and the goalie is a difficult one, like if you have limited room, what I do is I snap it with the goalie, then I just have them move. So the only thing I care about is perspective of height, right? And then I just take the side because I don't know, like Eric, we had talked about if you guys don't have enough room in a hallway
to take it against
the wall. Mm-hmm. And I wish we had a photo to show this, but okay. So Eric, put the camera on me here so I can maybe explain it, right? So right now, if we're taking photos and we have everyone lined up against this wall, but we don't have a lot of room right here to take the photo, then a lot of people say, well, I couldn't take it because there wasn't enough room. But if you take the kids on this wall and you turn them this way and you're shooting down the hallway, the background's the length of the hallway. And this basically compresses them, the two walls, and you put them between it and you shoot down. At that point, there's really no two teams or no two sides that you can't get together in one photo.
And then you're going to get people that say, well, you're blocking the whole hallway.
Yeah, sure.
Who
we
cares?
are. Wait.
Yep.
Yeah, get here earlier next time and you won't have to worry about it.
Right. For 30. Watch what they're
Yeah.
doing because you're about to do it too.
Yeah. And also, look, at hockey, I can tell you guys, it's not always recommended to do it on the ice because it's slippery and whatever, but I've never had issues doing it on the ice either. Like, the thing you don't think about, and this is the part that I go back to all the time, is I am all about probabilities. The probability of making money. Okay. And here's what I can tell you. If you have an event with 20 hockey teams, and I'm just going to use 20, they all have an average of 12 to 15 kids. So just to make math very easy, I'm going to say 15 kids. Okay. That means that every single team you take can potentially, even if you're, I don't even know what we would charge for a frame team poster today. What do we even charge for these things?
85.
Okay. So bare minimum, $1,000 per team is at stake every time you miss a team photo. Every time you miss it, $1,000 is at stake. So if we're talking about probability, the probability of you selling a team poster without a team photo is 0. And the probability of you selling at least 1 or 2 is extremely high if you just take it and make it and show it. Extremely high.
Right.
So, yeah.
Look, and for the people that are on the credit system, you unlock it once.
Yeah.
The profit on these team photos.
I would probably just do team photos.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not joking. That's against us, but I would just take the team, make it absolutely perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Take the time to put the logo in it. Take the time to type it all out right. Ask the coach what name they want on it. Ask the team mom what name they want it. Let them be involved in the design process. I mean, I'm not joking. I can go back to forever, and that was all we did were team photos, and yet we were able to create this from that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, let's carry on. Okay, so common mistakes. These are things that, again, it goes back to the premise of this particular podcast, which has always been my thing. Make it harder to say no than to say yes. When someone is standing in front of you, what excuse do they have and how can you get rid of it? Kids are blinking. Get rid of it, right? Like players' heights, that should never be a problem. Feet positioning, turn them sideways. It's not hard. Uniforms being uniform. What that means is like everything needs to be tucked in.
Or untucked for hockey.
Untucked. Yeah,
right.
whatever. Yep. All of your hats need to be the same. If you have gloves, everyone has gloves. If you don't have gloves, no one has gloves, right? Thank you for putting that up there, Julie.
Mm-hmm.
Arm positioning, same thing. Like if all the kids are crossing their arms or if all of them are hands to their side or if everyone's hands behind their back. And by the way, if you have kids toes to heels, do not ever put hands behind the back. You can just imagine why. Just don't do it.
Only a guy would think of that.
That's exactly right. Just don't do it.
I would never think that.
I know, but we have to think that. So it happens.
Well, not only that, but for the girls softball, I get a lot of put the hands on the hips and then twist back. Cheerleading as well, which is very cute unless there's one really short girl at the end and the elbow is in her face. And now you can't see the kid at the end. So just be very cautious if you're doing that because it could look phenomenal, but it could go real bad real fast.
And look, another thing too is when you're lining the kids up, take the extra 20 seconds to get it right. Because again, if you can only take one team and one set of individuals and you can't get the other one, you might as well get the one you're getting and make it as nice as you can to, again, minimize the probability of saying no. So you
know what's frustrating is like, if we were to go on to our current events today and looked at all the team photos, I guarantee you there is not one single perfect team photo where you couldn't nitpick minus the gloves. The angle, the gaps in between. The gaps in between are such a huge thing that I see so much of. And it's just, I wish we could go on and every single photo was beautiful, identical, but it also, like, you want to talk about brand consistency.
Sure.
That is our brand consistency. There's none.
Yeah.
There is none.
Yeah. I mean, look, the team itself, to me, I just go back to just the statement alone. If there's 30 teams and you could make up to $1,000 per team if you sold to everyone, the fact that you don't take it means you don't even care about trying to make 30 grand. look, the probability of selling to everyone is very, very, very slim unless it's a super prestigious event. But you never know. You never know. Like I market those as coach gifts, end of the year coach gifts. I market those as if you have sponsors. It's a really cool gift to give your sponsors, especially a lot of restaurants sponsor teams. Hang this thing in the restaurant. It gives you guys something, you know, people look at it when they go in. And if they buy it and the photo looks like shit and it's got our site on it and then people see it, they're just like, dude, thank you for the gift. Could have been way nicer.
Well, not only that, you want to talk about a high ticketed item.
Yeah.
You can't, there's a limit of what we can sell the individuals for. You could put a package together, whatever.
Yeah.
120 max.
Yeah.
But if you do the team and you, whatever, 10 team prints for $300 or $299.
Yeah.
You just, I mean, just to me,
dude, I know.
That's the value right there.
You think about it, just imagine every person who's obviously listening to this has done this. Imagine taking 10 individual photos and making 10 individual posters and selling to 10 individual customers and the amount of effort that goes into that. Imagine 3 retakes. Imagine the one mom who wants the jersey number changed. Imagine all those things. And then imagine taking one team photo, making one team poster, and selling 10 framed team posters. Instead of 85, you mark it down to 65, and your order total was $650, and you had one graphic credit of $15, and you have your frame costs and print costs, and that's it.
Yep.
I don't even know if we have to say anything other than that. This whole podcast could have been that statement. Like that alone, what are you doing? Take team photos, put effort into getting them right, evaluate it with your photographers, and I think we have that on the next slide here if you want to go.
Well, this is the lighting, the photographer stuff.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, we'll do it at the end. But so lighting, indoor, outdoor. Look, all of this, this is about improving yourself, improving your business. And do you care about improving your product? Because every time you improve, your sales will improve. And you don't know. The hardest part is it's not easy to measure. So I'll give you an example. I go out to whatever, even a basketball tournament. Let's say I go to this basketball tournament and I take all these photos and I sell whatever. Let's say I make $3,000. Well, it's hard for someone to know that they made $3,000. They might have only made 2 if they didn't have really nice photos. It's hard for them to know, but what you don't realize is that if you put effort in every week to improving, your end of the year sales will be higher. I don't know how else to explain it. Like it just works. It's worked for us for literally, I mean, for me personally, it's worked for almost 20 years.
I mean, if you look at Armando, he has a life-size human light box that he brings to indoor events. I think is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. And not only do your photos look better, but people are drawn to that.
Of course.
Because it is bright, it is beautiful. These kids like step into this box. I mean, it's a product photography box for humans.
Yeah. What it cost him?
So he got it on Facebook Marketplace at a discount. On Amazon, it was pretty pricey.
What is pricey?
I don't know.
Okay, well, while you're talking, I'm going to look it up because I'm actually curious. So it's a photo light box, you said?
Yeah, it's like a human-sized light box.
All right, hang on.
And I did find them on Amazon.
All right, so I'm going to share my screen to show you guys what this thing looks like really fast here. Okay, eShare. Code is 876. Okay. All right, guys. So this is what a human-sized light box looks like. And Julie, very, very expensive, a total of $289. Not that expensive, especially for what can come from it. So here's the thing. She's right. This draws people over. And more importantly, if someone wants a retake, bring them over here and it will be perfect.
I think for me, when I look at $300, I'm multiplying by 10 because that's what we used to.
Yes, we would have to buy it for $3,000. That's a good point. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you're just buying one for one location, I think it breaks down. I wish you would have scrolled over. But the light box breaks down to very compact, so you can travel with it.
Easy to travel with. But again, that lighting, it will work. It works indoor way better than outdoor. But again, outdoor, you usually have natural lighting that's really good. Indoors where we've always battled lighting.
I love outdoor lighting
Yeah.
because when you understand how to use the sun to your favor versus shadows, and which we'll go into, like you can get beautiful photos,
Yeah.
especially these newer phones where it takes into the shadows into consideration, where it auto brightens it for you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want to talk, like, the phrase is backlighting, and the sun, it just does such a great job that you can't get in, like, for indoor events.
Yeah.
So that's going into the next one, addressing the sun different times of the day, because you get the golden hour twice, which is like, it's that soft, kind of like what you were talking about our podcast studio. You wanted that soft, like, gold lighting.
A yellowish lighting, not
Yeah.
the bright that we have here.
That we have right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so taking advantage of that, which is nice because usually that's the first round of the day.
Yep.
And so you're getting beautiful photos, and the shadows are really long too. So I know I'm getting into really technical stuff, but when you go out and do it and you see it, and next time that you do, and which for a lot of people, outdoor events are going to be quite a bit ways away.
I've always looked for trees, like always. And look, the first round, you can get them on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And the second round, you can get them warming up.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look around when you get there, oftentimes, I mean, I can think of a very, very few places I couldn't find shadows. Like, as weird as it is, at certain times of the day, this is going to sound crazy, but I would use the concession stand wall because the sun is in a certain spot, like around 11 a.m., where it's coming from the back, and it creates that perfect shadow on the wall where they can stand against the wall, and it's perfect every time. And then I just feed teams through there. And I'll have someone going around being like, hey, coach, we need to do your photo. Could you go over to this wall? It's perfect lighting, blah, blah, and no problem.
So I do like concession stand walls, as long as there's no, like, windows or doors, or, you can get to them.
Yeah.
What I actually have found is I don't like taking photos in the shade anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah. I know for beginners that I would probably still say just go take them in the shade. But what I found was you get a blue hue on, like, white jerseys.
Okay.
And I don't know why. I'm sure there's a technical reason why.
Okay.
But having the sun to the side and, like I said, backlit has produced, for me, better photos for teams and individuals. The blue is the problem. And
I've never had that issue, I don't think.
You can fix the blue even in your phone because you can change the tint.
I don't think I've ever noticed it, but
yeah, it's something that I've noticed, but just something to look out
okay,
and address. But see, this is the outdoor thing that I was talking about.
And this is a shitty photo for whoever took this.
This is a rough photo.
Who took this? She's not going to call anyone out. Whatever.
The other one wasn't terrible. It was cute. This one I don't want to call anybody out on.
Okay.
So
you know who you are, and it looks like this is at Space Coast.
it is.
Grant, I'm calling you out. All right.
Yeah, and this is the only team photo for his whole event.
Mm-hmm. So just look at this. Like the kid on the right, you're barely knee high. Right, it's clear that they're all not turned the same way. They're not. It's not uniformed. Some of them. Well, it looks like one kid, maybe the kid on the left, has sunglasses on their head. I don't know.
Sunglasses on the faces.
Yeah, the one kid, number 8, is like standing out on the left-hand side. I mean, there's a thousand things wrong with this.
Well, I think the biggest problem is the inconsistency of lighting, because you have a shadow create.
It's a pole. Yep, right in the middle kid. Yep, right in that middle kid.
And then the rest of them are directly into the sun, so it's creating that harsh line under the bill of their hats.
Yeah. So something that I've done, and you said you don't take in shadows, but I mean, for those of us that aren't experts, that's what I do. And I actually use pole lighting all the time. All the time. Light pole lighting in the outfields of parks, they cast a shadow that is very long. And I cannot tell you the number of times I line kids up in that. Like that's probably been my holy grail of all places to take photos. And I didn't think about it till just now.
Yeah. The only other spot that I do, because I know you like lines, I like lines too. If it's the dirt infields, I'll make a line with my foot to get the shadow where I need it to be. Because sometimes, like the one that we're showing now, if that's the line that they're on,
yeah,
and the sun is directly at their face, that's not a good photo.
Yeah.
And something else that I've seen a lot of too, well, not a lot, but like I've seen it more than once, is if you line up the kids on the foul line and the sun is coming towards them, what happens sometimes is the dugout creates a shadow like halfway on their bodies or like on half the team.
Sure.
And it's brutal. So
Look, this is technical stuff. First step is just start taking photos of
yeah,
teams. That's like step number
right,
one.
right,
Start there, and then outside of that, then you want to perfect it. But the one thing you can control from day one is how they look, how they
right.
stand, where they're lined up at. You can get better at shadows, but staging them like that's a layup. Like that's not even hard, and you should do it. And if you don't, like I literally don't even have any words for it.
Well, and that's the thing when we go out and train, and I think that's why I wanted to talk on this topic, because we train them first for the positioning of the kids, and I don't even really go into lighting at all, because you're right, it is like that next level. Just start taking the team photos
Yeah.
first,
Yeah.
and then once you're doing that consistently and it looks beautiful each time, then you can say, okay, what can I do to improve on this?
Yeah.
And so, the next piece is the indoor lighting, which we kind of talked about the box, the human light box. But I've also, this weekend, Anthony's at a rink where one rink is beautifully lit, white walls, very bright. But then the other side, it's under bleachers. All the locker rooms are under bleachers. It's really dark. They painted the walls black.
Yeah.
Like it's just, the other side is fencing, like because they have like all their extra stuff under their bleachers, and it's just awful. So I told him, I go, after the first time we were there, we always brought ring lighting or some kind of external lighting that was battery operated, because to try to get them to go to the other rink is terrible, especially if they're, and of course that was the rink with the little kids. And then if you're trying to take these photos in the dark hallways, I mean, put it next to the kids that took them in the bright rooms.
Well, I'm going to show you some lighting that if you're indoors, this is something that I highly recommend. So, Eric, if you could go to the screen. Okay, so any of these will be better than nothing, but right here, this specifically is it's called Newer. It's a 33-inch. It's called Parabolic Softbox. So basically, it comes on a little tripod, and it's got a little circle. This is it. This little thing goes on it, and it will make a dramatic difference in the lighting. So,
I've used this for photo days.
yeah, for sure. And not to mention, similar to the indoor light box, this also gives you that look and feel of like, wow, and you can get two of them. Again, if you look at the price right here, it's $99 or $84. I don't even know what the difference is, but the $99, you get two of them for $200, and you set them up and angle them at each other. And
That's if
it's
you can
perfect
have
lighting.
a spot to do this. Now, not every rink. Eric, can you grab the lightsaber light over there and then the tripod? We'll show you this one. So this was actually my favorite way to do it.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, so I think overall, just lighting anything, it's always better than nothing.
Right. So I like this because when you're navigating through, thank you. When you're navigating through like the hallways and the people are trying to get in and out with the hockey bags, and it's a pain in the butt. But this light actually runs on battery.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Is it?
Yes. I don't know how you bought this one. And then it just stands on it actually just screws in the bottom to a tripod like that. So when I'm walking, and then the kids love it because they think it's a lightsaber. Like,
Lightsaber,
yeah.
yeah.
And this thing, I don't know if there's any battery on this one yet. Let's see if it produces a ton of light. No, this one's, there's no battery.
Here. Yeah.
And it runs off a USB-C, so it uses the same charger as my computer.
An iPhone.
iPhone computer.
Yep.
So if there was one type of lighting that I would use, it would be, is that one going to turn on?
Yeah, and you can also take these into a hallway.
Right.
So that's the biggest key with them, is it's very, very easy to take them.
And they're so bright.
Yeah, I didn't know that they were bright.
We've
used them for so long. Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's one of them.
Yeah,
Whoa.
just burnt out.
Yeah.
And you can change the hue on it and everything.
Yeah.
See if this turns on.
Well, either way. Oh, there you go.
There we go.
So you can
Yeah.
kind of see how it looks. I mean, you
Yeah.
can just like put it
I
to your
mean,
face and then
you
pull
could-
it away from your face.
right.
Like,
I mean,
look at the difference.
it's in these things. There's no space to them,
Yeah.
which I love.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. So this, and the back is, but yeah, this is what I would bring.
Yeah.
Easy to carry around. It's not cumbersome.
Well, it depends on your space. If you have a big enough space, the umbrella lighting
Of
also
course.
is awesome.
Yeah.
It depends. Basketball spaces are generally much better lit than hockey. Hockey specifically is the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes cheerleading and dance, because they keep it dark in the places where
Yep.
they're doing it. That's the other thing. But yeah, I think those are great. So
Yeah.
again, those are even cheaper
You
than
think?
these are cheaper than those by far. Like a lot.
much
I
are
bought
these?
those
I
like
know.
$39, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I love these.
Yeah.
I thought they were more.
No, they're not.
No, well, yeah, these should definitely be in. Like, you want to talk about? You could put these in any vehicle, and there'll be.
Yeah. So the battery powered ones are cheap. You can get, it looks like you can get them on here. I'm looking right now here. I'll share my screen just to show you guys. So they were a little bit more than I thought, actually, but I'm pretty sure I got these from B&H Photo is where I ordered them. But I'm looking right now on Amazon, and you can get a 4-pack for $150. So I don't know if you break that down, it's like, what is that? $40 a piece. So yeah, about $39. You get a 4-pack, and it comes with, it looks like with the tripod. It's a portable battery powered light. You can change it to all different color types. And so there's a lot of options. If you guys just Google, I literally just Googled, you can see stick lights. And
You sure it's not the $300 one?
I mean, I'm sure it's not.
Okay.
I promise you.
I know you're the one that bought it, and I
Yes,
use it.
I promise you. It was definitely, I mean, look at the tripod.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, it's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, these right here. And again, you can kind of see what that looks like. But yeah, so hopefully this gives you guys a little bit of lighting ideas, and you can start thinking about that. So
Yeah, nice and easy ones.
all right.
Oh,
so
the one before. So other things like the dark walls, the windows, and glass. I try to avoid taking anything in front of glass.
yeah, well, because you get a reflection.
It's just
Yeah,
awful.
and it's a pain,
Yeah.
especially with the background removal tool. Like we struggle with that big time because you can't train because it's weird. Like you can't teach it what a person shadow looks like, or it's just weird. So yeah, if you can avoid glass, avoid it at all cost.
Void windows. But when I am in indoor facilities and I can get sunlight coming in from the glass, like the windows, that's probably the best lighting I've seen.
Lighting's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So photo feedback. Again, this is something I'm going to go by this. You don't need feedback. Just look at it. You don't even need to
Sure,
ask.
it's feedback from yourself.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, you're having here, put it in Slack. You don't even need it. You don't even need it. Like, I guarantee if I set someone down and said, tell me everything wrong with this photo, and the mindset was, I'm looking for ways to improve, you'll find them, right? If you're looking to justify that what you did is good enough, you'll find it. Okay? Look at it with the objective of thinking, how can I do this better? And every time someone that works with you takes a photo, go through it with them. Just pull it up and say, hey, here's what I'm seeing, or maybe ask them what they're saying. What would you do if you were improving this? And because what you need to do is train someone to look at something that way. So before they snap it, they're looking at the real life setting and thinking, how could I improve this right now in real time? And they have to be quick on their feet. So that's my, I don't know. I think if you're running it, you know what a good photo is. And if you don't, then I have no words. You do,
Well, and I think too, people get into their heads like, oh, this person's been with me for a year. They should know, and I don't have to point it out anymore.
Yep.
You can ask any person that's worked with me. I mean, even Eric, he's worked anytime we work together, I will point out, and his photos are phenomenal now.
Yeah.
And the thing is, at the end of the day, I want our staff to get to the point where I can't tell who took what photo.
I think that's like McDonald's. You don't know who made the fries. They all taste the same. Doesn't matter where you go. Like, we know that if a certain crew goes to different events, certain crews make more money than others. That right there should never happen. It should never happen. Excluding caliber of play, number of times teams have been seen,
Weather.
and yeah, the some of those things. Outside of that, nothing should be that large of a variable. But yet you go to an event and you could do 10 grand, whereas we send like a Chris Puck Shiv and they do 1,500. And it's mind blowing, and it should never happen that way. Every crew should be able to kill it every time they go out if the event is worthy. I mean, really.
Yeah.
I know there are certain events where shit happens, but this has always been my take on it. You know this about me. I've never once cared about sales. I always care about, did you do the best job you could? If you do that, I don't care about sales. Sales tend to work out, right? It's like you talk about money. Money follows people that do things well. It will find you. If you do it well, money will find you. And if you desperately go out and you desperately need it, you will never make it. I don't know how to explain it, but it's because in your mind, that's what you have. You have to obsess over doing the best job you can, which means preparing, pre-event emails, showing up early, having the best setup possible, taking high quality photos, having backups to your phone chargers, right? Having backups of everything to minimize the probability of something going wrong. It's, again, you go back to photos. The objective of a business owner is to maximize the potential opportunity and to minimize the potential downfalls. That is your job. Your job is to think about having 2 printers instead of 1. And if you're always going to be using 2 printers the whole time, having 3 or 4 printers instead of 2. Okay? Always having a backup. Your goal is to assume that if you have staff, bring backup shirts, because odds are they're probably going to forget it, and you're banking on that, right? And then again, the other goal is to maximize the potential for revenue. Those are your objectives if you run a business. There is no other objective.
Yeah. And look, every piece that you said, it's like, that's the whole point of us talking about the podcast. Like, we're talking about specifically the team photo today. Mm-hmm. But when you talk about the setup, that's a whole nother conversation.
All of it is.
And and you talk about, like, when I go out and do, which I feel like anybody could do what I do.
I know. I agree.
Right. And it's because I've taken phases of our business and I've obsessed over them.
Of course.
And that's why, and like going into the next piece. So one of the things that for me personally brought my photography skills to the next level is taking this iPhone course.
Yep.
And for the longest time, you would say that we're not photographers. And I think you probably still feel that way today. Do you not?
Absolutely.
That we're not photographers.
I absolutely feel that way.
Okay.
Yes.
I've accepted that when someone, even today, I was telling Eric about this, like when we get asked, like, what's your profession? I go, we're youth sport photographers. And it's,
first of all, if someone asks me that,
what do you tell them?
I don't have a need to tell them anything, because they're clearly not going to be in my circle. I don't know. When someone says, what do I do for a living? I always just say, I do design. That's all I ever say. I do design. What do you mean? Just sports stuff. Nothing interesting. That's literally the extent of my conversation. It is over and I move on.
Just interesting, because I've been asked by so many doctors and people lately, like, so what do you do for a living?
What do you do? Otherwise, can you pay your bills? That's what they're really asking.
Right.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. Look, the reason that I go back to we aren't photographers is because I've always been under the mindset that we can fix anything. And a photographer can't without design.
Sure.
It can't. We can fix a lot, but the thing is, we built it to the point where we don't have to fix much. And so to your point with this course, if you learn the tricks of the trade of this, it minimizes any of the efforts you might have to make from a design perspective, and you don't even have to make them. And that's awesome.
Right. And today, they're not designers. Look, we had to be designers because that's what we were given.
Well, there was no other option.
There was no other option. We had to, the things that I can do on any platform to manipulate a photo, we've done it. But today we built the system to where they don't need that knowledge. So for them, it's anybody that's taking a photo, they are the photographer. And the system is amplifying that for them. Because the better photo you put into our system, the better product you're going to get out of it.
I agree.
So so when I took this course, and I I loved it. It was very well paced. It gave you the confidence that an iPhone or whatever, a mobile phone, I mean, I know it says iPhone, of course, but any mobile phone, it gave you the like confidence that you can take truly phenomenal photos from your phone. And like nothing makes me cringe more when someone says, "Oh, you're taking that from your phone."
Yeah.
Like, lady, do you not like clearly you don't understand how great it has way more to do with the person behind the camera taking the photo versus the thing that you're taking the photo with.
Well, the iPhone did the same thing that we did. The iPhone gave you a tool to where anyone can take a decent photo. And we gave you a tool that anyone can generate a really cool poster with minimal learning curve and minimal effort, right? But again, the more you know about what the iPhone's capable of, the better you can be. It's like I can tell you, Mike and I had some conversations about generating posters where he didn't know he could do things. And he's like, oh my God, dude, it's amazing. So the more he learned about it, the better the outcome is. So yes, going back to the statement of your objective is to create as much opportunity as possible and to minimize as much risk as possible. If those two things are true, which they are, then learning how to take better photos increases the probability of generating higher amounts of revenue. It does. Yep. So it also does another thing. It minimizes the potential risk of someone not wanting to buy it because the photo is not good. That's it.
Yeah.
So yes, I highly recommend this. Everyone should take it just to have it.
It's not just about like the capabilities of the phone, but it goes into greater depth about lighting, about posing people, things that, okay, now we can, when we remove the barrier of the design feature or the functionality, we can actually start thinking about things beyond that because we never thought about that. We didn't have time.
Another piece here is that the more you guys learn, the more you can bring to the table to our discussions, which I also find valuable. One of the things that I loved in the beginning is that, and actually that I love right now about our calls, like having Armando, having Chris, having Amber, everyone contributes something different. Like I can't tell you how many times we talk about photo days and I just defer to Chris because he brings the knowledge. And the more that you guys learn and the more that you're self-learning, the better everyone is. And the more you learn, when you start teaching it, you learn it in a different way. I don't know how to explain that, but you learn it differently when you're teaching it.
Well, they say you don't truly learn something until you can teach it.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Right. So, and that's why going back to like people that get started with us, I don't try to bombard them with all the knowledge that I have about taking a photo. It's when they ask and they're curious.
Well, those are people you can invest in. Those are people you can buy the course for them or give them a login. So is there another slide on this one? I think that was the last one, right? Yep. So guys, with that, the reason we wanted to double down on team photos is, again, if you have 20 teams, even if a baseball team of 12 kids and you're charging $80, that's $1,000. Every team photo you don't take, it's a guaranteed that you cannot make anything. And every photo you do take, there's a chance of making $1,000. It is different than buying a lottery ticket and having 1 in a million. Like there's a big difference. You take a photo and you have a high probability of selling at least 2 or 3, which is an extra $200. And if you just did that, if you sold 3 of them and made the extra $200 or $300, and you did that on 20 teams, I mean, if you do the math on it and you can get $300 a team, it's an extra $6,000. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Take your team photos.
And take them well.
Yes.
Take them well.
Yeah, because if you take them shitty and then you say, well, it doesn't work, it's like all we're going to do is pull up your photos. That's all that's going to happen. And if they're awesome, you won't be saying it. And if they're not awesome, you'll be saying it doesn't work. And then we'll go and point out why we don't. And then I will get to point out everyone's name that Julie pulls photos on. All right, guys, with that, we appreciate all of you joining in. We hope that you enjoyed this. Let us know. Obviously, we'll talk to you guys on Thursday. And yeah, look forward to it and appreciate you guys. Thanks, Jaybird.
Bye, guys.